Hey Bulldog families, thank you so much for joining us here tonight as we get started for this year's recruitment season. My name is Abby Buck and I'm the Panhellenic Advisor in the Office of Fraternity and Sorority Life at Mississippi State, and this is my 5th recruitment in this role. Tonight we're going to talk through a little bit about what your student can expect going through the recruitment process and just a little bit about how the process works and things like that. So before we get too far into things, I want to talk a little bit about my role on campus and throughout recruitment. So my biggest role is probably just supporting your students as they are throughout their time at Mississippi State, as well as facilitating the recruitment process and just working with our 9 Panhellenic chapters. You'll also see the rest of the staff here, again, throughout recruitment and throughout the school year. Again, our main role is just to facilitate and support our students. So first off, let's get into who is Panhellenic. The National Panhellenic Conference, or NPC, is home to 26 women's-only national or international member organizations, or sororities. Mississippi State is home to 9 of these sororities, and they are supported by not only our office, but the College Panhellenic Council, which is known as the Panhellenic Council on our campus. The Panhellenic Council Executive Board at Mississippi State is made up of 10 women who are members of our 9 Panhellenic sorority chapters. It is based on democratic principles, and the purpose of this group is to provide support and cooperation among the Panhellenic sororities on campus. So just real quick, these are the 9 Panhellenic chapters that we have here on campus. All 9 of these chapters have houses on campus, and this is going to be where the majority of the recruitment process takes place. A little bit more about what is recruitment and how it works. So the Panhellenic formal recruitment process, or Panhellenic primary recruitment process, is organized and implemented by the Panhellenic Council in our office. This is a mutual selection and values-based process that consists of a series of events held by each sorority chapter for selecting new members. Some terminology that you might hear along the way are rounds and P&Ms. So a round in recruitment consists of events or parties where potential new members, or P&Ms, spend time with sorority members to learn more about each other and their organization. And a P&M is just that. It's a potential new member, which is any student eligible to participate in recruitment. So another person that you might hear of a lot is your student's Gamma Chi, or recruitment counselor. A Gamma Chi is a current sorority member who has been disaffiliated from their chapter to serve as unbiased listener and mentor to your students during the recruitment process and beyond. Gamma Chis have participated in recruitment themselves, both as P&Ms and active sorority members, and they are your students' first line of communication during the recruitment process. So any questions that they may have, your Gamma Chi is going to have the answer or find somebody that does. P&Ms will receive a call from their Gamma Chi by August 10th at 5 p.m. with more information regarding the recruitment process and where to meet and things like that. So first, the formal sorority recruitment schedule. So again, the sorority recruitment is a week of events where potential new members and actives meet. And so August 12th, which is your P&M move-in day if you're living on campus, we're going to have orientation and round 1 selection, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. Then we go into the 13th and 14th for philanthropy round, and then 15th and 16th for sisterhood, and then preference on the 17th with bid day on the 18th, right before the first day of class. So before we get too much further into the breakdown of the recruitment week and what it looks like, I want to talk about the process. So the formal recruitment process is a mutual selection process, meaning both the chapters and the P&Ms are making decisions throughout. So there are 4 invitational rounds: round 1, philanthropy, sisterhood, and preference. After each recruitment round, chapters create invitation lists deciding which P&Ms to invite back to the next round. The chapters and P&Ms must express interest in each other to continue through the recruitment process. Following each round, P&Ms must submit their priority rankings, listing the chapters they would most likely like to visit again. This is done using a cluster system where P&Ms must rank all of their options without removing any chapters from their list. The ranking process depends on how many chapters a P&M can visit in the next round based on the recruitment format in the specific round. At Mississippi State, the format goes 9 to 7 to 5 and then to 2. For example, in round 1, when the P&M watches all 9 chapter videos and chapters have watched all of the P&M videos, a P&M will rank 7 chapters in a cluster with a 1 ranking, indicating that those are the chapters that they prefer to visit next. The remaining 2 chapters are ranked individually, with 1 chapter ranked 2nd and the other ranked 3rd. There's an example here below. P&Ms are not guaranteed to receive all 7 invitations to round 2, and it is very common for a P&M to not have that maximum amount of events each day. They must be on the invitation list for those chapters to visit them again. The chapters in the P&M must express interest in each other to continue throughout the recruitment process. On that note, if there is a chapter that is in your P&M's 1 ranking that did not invite them back, but their 2nd or 3rd ranked chapter did invite them back, then one of those chapters could slide in to fill that slot. So it's not uncommon for the chapter to be ranked second or third to be in that schedule the next day. Next, we're going to talk about a breakthrough of what each round looks like and what your students can expect going through the recruitment process. So first, we're going to start off with the P&M recruitment orientation. This is going to be on Wednesday, August 12th for the in-person piece. If you're moving in that day, do not worry about it. You're going to have plenty of time to get settled in before going to this meeting time. So prior to recruitment, students are going to have access to watch a virtual P&M orientation on their Canvas page from August 5th through August 12th. Watching this orientation is required to participate in recruitment, and students should expect to set aside about 30 minutes to watch this entire video. On Wednesday, August 12th at 7 p.m., students will meet their Gamma Chi to learn more about the recruitment process and how the week is going to go. So this is when the P&Ms are going to receive their t-shirts for the week, they're going to receive their bag for the week, and dress code for this day is casual, and the only people that are going to be in attendance on this day are going to be P&Ms, Gamma Chis, and Panhellenic Executive Council and staff. So next we have round one. So this is also going to be on August 12th at 7 p.m. and it will be a part of that in-person recruitment orientation with their Gamma Chi. And so again, from August 5th to August 12th, the students will have access to watch all 9 chapter videos on the Canvas page. Watching all 9 videos is required to participate in Panhellenic Recruitment. Each video is approximately 2 minutes in length, so anticipate spending about 1 hour watching videos and taking notes. On Wednesday, August 12th at 7 p.m., P&Ms and their Gamma Chi group will meet at their assigned campus location. After their short recruitment orientation meeting with their group, P&Ms will then make selections based on the chapter videos that they watch. So next we have our philanthropy round. So this round is going to be in person on August 13th and August 14th. To begin this round, your students are going to meet with their Gamma Chi at their prior location to receive their schedules for this round. It'll be pretty early in the morning, but this will allow them to have enough time to get ready or go back to sleep if they don't have an event to begin their day. This round of recruitment allows P&Ms to visit a maximum of 7 chapters this round. So during this round, women will learn the importance of philanthropic efforts and community service and how important those are to our community. P&Ms will also make a selection immediately following their last event for the round. So next we have the sisterhood round. So this is also going to be in person on August 15th and August 16th. And this round allows P&Ms to attend a maximum of 5 parties. During these parties, chapters are going to provide information about financial responsibilities, time commitment, and the bonds that have contributed to their sisterhood. This allows potential new members to see the individuality, values, and spirit of each chapter. And this round is really meant to just give a glimpse into daily chapter life. P&M should also engage in conversations about what matters most to them as individuals to see whether those priorities align with the chapters. Again, P&Ms will make selections immediately following their last event for the round. Last but not least, we have preference round, and so this will be on Monday, August 7th, again in person. So in this final recruitment round, P&Ms will have the opportunity to attend up to 2 parties. These parties will be longer than the parties on previous days, allowing for more in-depth conversations. This round is a little bit more serious and may be emotional for some women. And so during this round, chapter members may share with P&Ms what they love about their chapter, what their sorority means to them, and how it has shaped their development. After the last party, P&Ms will complete a membership recruitment acceptance binding agreement known as an MRABA. So the membership recruitment acceptance binding agreement, this is where the selection process for P&M changes just a little bit. And so again, this is the final step of recruitment, and this involves P&M signing the MRABA after their last preference party. MRABA is a binding agreement, and once it is signed, it cannot be altered or changed. To get a little bit more in depth on the membership recruitment acceptance binding agreement, this is going to look a little bit different from selection the rest of the week, as this will be done at the Colvard Student Union and on the second floor in the ballrooms, and not with their Gamma Chi on their phones like the rest of the week. And so if you made it to the preference round, you either have 2 preference events or 1 preference events. For 2 preference events, you have 3 different options of what could occur. A, you are willing to accept a bid from either chapter. B, you're willing to accept a bid from 1 chapter, but you're not willing to accept a bid from the other chapter. Or C, you're not willing to accept a bid from either chapter. If you're willing to accept a bid from either chapter, you're going to head up to the union, read and sign the MRABA, and rank those 2 chapters in the preferred order, and then you should receive a bid on bid day. Please remember your first choice is not guaranteed, and the MRABA is binding. B, you're willing to accept a bid from 1 chapter, but you are not willing to accept a bid from the other chapter. So you're still going to head up to the union and read and sign the MRABA. However, instead of listing both, you are going to limit your options by ranking only 1 chapter, which is called intentional single preferencing. I do want to note As it says here, limiting your options does not increase your chances of matching with your first choice. From there, you could receive a bid on bid day, but you also may not receive a bid on this day if you decide to limit your options. So if you not receive a bid, Panhellenic will notify your student before that they are released from recruitment. They would be eligible to receive a bid via COB, but we'll talk about what COB is after this. And then there's option C if you have attended 2 preference events. You're not willing to accept a bid from either chapter, and from there you will withdraw from recruitment and you're eligible to receive a bid via COB. So those are your options for if you attended 2 preference events. If your student only attends 1 preference event, their options are that they are willing to accept a bid from that chapter or they are not willing to accept a bid from that chapter, and it works pretty similarly. If your student is willing to accept a bid from that chapter, they will just head up to the union and they will read and sign the MRA-BA ranking the chapter that they were invited to. From there, they should receive a bid on bid day, and again, the MRA-BA is binding. So from there, if you're not willing to accept a bid from that chapter, your student again would withdraw from the recruitment process and they are still eligible to receive a bid via COB. And so it's important to note, if you do receive a bid from one of the sororities listed on your MRA-BA and decide not to join that chapter and decline your bid, either now at the time of bid day or later on in the year, you are not eligible to receive a bid from another College Panhellenic chapter on the campus until the next primary recruitment the following year. If you do not receive a bid from one of the sororities listed, you're immediately eligible to receive a bid from any chapter. So while we're here, I want to talk a little bit about what COB entails and what it means. So COB is the continuous open bidding process. There are 2 different ways to join a Panhellenic sorority. So either going through the primary formal recruitment process or the more informal process, continuous open bidding. Continuous open bidding is as informal as we're sitting next to each other in class and my chapter is eligible to extend you a bid, and so we did. And so again, a lot more informal, and we have a lot of students that join our sororities through this process, so want to make sure that we touch on COB. Next we have bid day. So bid day again will be on August 18th, and PNMs will open their bids in the Culver Student Union beginning at 1 p.m. and they will then be considered new members of their sorority chapters. We ask that this time is for students and recruitment volunteers only. Once all bids have been distributed, new members will go directly to their new sorority house where they will meet chapter members to begin their individual bid day celebrations. We can anticipate bid day events to conclude by 7 p.m. that day to get ready for class, the first day of class the following day. Bid day attendance is not required for parents and families. All chapters will host a virtual parent meeting, and each chapter will share more details about these meetings after bid day. So now that we've talked a little bit about the recruitment process and what it's going to look like throughout the week, I want to talk a little bit about academics. So there's not a GPA requirement to go through the recruitment process. However, our chapters do take academics very seriously, and it is a huge part of their expectations throughout the year. And so we do like to give a little bit of information of what your student can expect based on what their GPA is like going into the recruitment week. And so if your student has a 3.0 and above, they are considered to be in the green zone and their options are not likely to be limited by GPA. If they are in a 2.75 to a 2.99 on their GPA, they are in the yellow zone, and these options are maybe a little bit more likely to be limited by their GPA. And from there, we have 2.74 and below, which would be in the red zone, and their options are very likely to be limited by GPA. We don't say any of this information to scare anybody or make anybody nervous about going through the recruitment process. Again, it's just for transparency's sake. We encourage students to reach out to their Gamma Chi or to our recruitment team or office staff if they have any questions or concerns about going through the recruitment process or how their GPA might affect that process as well. So up until now, we've spent our time talking about what your student will experience during recruitment, but I would like to spend the next few minutes talking about how you as a parent and family of these students can support them throughout the recruitment process. Some students are going to call home every single day of recruitment, some do not, and sometimes they're excited, sometimes they're really tired and really hot, and sometimes they might be confused, and really occasionally they might be disappointed. And in those moments, what you say matters. And so I'd love to share a few pieces of advice, not just as the Panhellenic advisor, but as somebody who's not only gone through this process myself, but also have watched thousands of students go through this process on this side and genuinely cares about your students and their experience. So first off, encourage an open mind. If there's one piece of advice I could give every family, it would be this. Encourage your student to keep an open mind. Every year I meet women who arrive on campus convinced that they know exactly where they're going to end up in the chapters. Every year, many of them end up somewhere completely different. And many of those same women come back months later or maybe even years later and tell me, I can't imagine being anywhere else. Recruitment isn't about finding the chapter your student imagined before she got here. It's about finding a chapter where she will be known. She might be challenged, but she will definitely be supported and loved. Next, this is an important one. Remind your students to take care of themselves. I know this may come as a shock to some people, but it is hot in Mississippi in August. So please encourage your students to drink water, use the cooling stations that we will have located around the row, use the water that we have, bring a water bottle. They need to eat something. With that, wear comfortable shoes. There's lots of walking around happening these days. We are going to have some golf cart shuttles available going from the residence hall to the row, but those are not a guarantee that they will be able to. So we encourage students to always leave enough time for themselves to be able to walk everywhere they're needed. And with that, there can be a lot of walking. And so wear sneakers. If you want to wear some fancier shoes with a little heel on them, maybe I would bring some sneakers along and wear those and just have those extra shoes in tow and change them out real quick. Because again, lots of walking around and we want to make sure everybody's comfortable. All of that to say, recruitment is an exciting time, but it can be physically and emotionally demanding. So again, just take care of yourselves. That's what we want to see. Something that I hope gives you all peace of mind is your student is not navigating the recruitment process alone. She has her Gamma Chi, she has the Panhellenic Council members, and she has our fraternity and sorority life staff. If something doesn't feel right, if she's overwhelmed, she has questions, please encourage her to go to her Gamma Chi, come to us. We will be happy to help her navigate this process in any way. For the parents, please call if there's ever anything that you have questions about or if there's a concern. If we don't answer, please leave a voicemail and I will give you a call back as soon as possible. Some grace during this time is very helpful because all of our staff members are out on the row helping your students and supporting them as well as facilitating the process. And so if we don't answer right away, know that we will be getting back to you as soon as we possibly can. For the parent side of things, please know that I will be sending out emails every single round with updates and what your student can expect for that round. But if you have any additional questions or concerns maybe about the recruitment process, please do not hesitate to give us a call. If we don't answer, please leave a voicemail and give us a little bit of grace as we will be busy out on the road facilitating the process and supporting your students. But please know that we will get back with you as soon as we possibly can. To wrap us up, myself and the rest of our office have spent a lot of time with students in the recruitment process as well as in the fall as new members and then leaders and then so on and so forth. I've met with students who weren't happy with where they ended up after recruitment and then ended up being chapter presidents or over recruitment for their chapter. I've met with students who ended up exactly where they were going to and then realized maybe it's a little bit harder than they thought to make friends in the chapter, or maybe the student didn't expect the social or academic transition to be as difficult as it was for them. We know that it's probably your student's first time doing life by themselves in this way and making these decisions for themselves. If they are having any trouble at all, please send them to us. Supporting your student doesn't end after recruitment. It continues on throughout their time in college. Our entire office staff is happy to help, support, and help your student as needed. Please know that we also have an embedded counselor in our office just for fraternity and sorority life students. And so if you are ever concerned and want us to check in, again, just let us know. We're happy to frame it in a way to where your student has no idea that you called to check in. We just want to make sure everybody is okay and feels supported. So just let us know how we can help. After your students join a chapter and they are considered a new member, they will be enrolled into the New Member Experience course. So this is a peer facilitated course led by some of our leaders in our community. And really this course is just here to help them get to know the lay of the land, learn any resources on campus within our office. This course does not count towards any credit hours for their schedules, but again, it is required for all new members. And really it's just to make sure that they feel well informed going into the rest of their college career. As we wrap up here tonight, I wanted to share our contact information one last time in case anybody needs it. I know we've shared a lot of information with everyone tonight, but here's what I hope you'll remember. Recruitment is not about becoming somebody new. It is about finding the people who help your student become more of who she already is. She doesn't need to be perfect. She simply just needs to be herself because the right chapter for her isn't looking for someone else. They're looking for her. Thank you to all of you for trusting us with your students. I promise that is a responsibility that we do not take lightly. We can't wait to welcome your family into ours. And with that, Hail State.